Alright, so we're going to kind of start getting into some areas where we want to start throwing things on here that maybe don't want to actually build off of our object. I mean, we can always add more edges, hold spacebar, kind of throw some things in there, and maybe we can play around with adding these handles where the actual dump truck comes and loads it up and dumps it into the bin in the back of the truck. But it'd also be easier just to throw things into a subtool so we can actually attack it later. So let's go ahead and build that instead. So subtool is right below the actual tool menu, and this is basically how we can break up into elements but keep it still part of the actual same tool object. So Shift Z to hide that. I hit Control W to change it to a single polygroup. What I can do now, so I don't want to append, I'm just going to throw a cube in there, and this is new layer, and we want to go ahead and go to the initialize function and convert it to a cube. So now it's hidden. So let's hide our dumpster. If you want to actually have to where you have your menus open, multiple menus at the same time, hold Shift and you can open up a menu and won't close the other one, so you'll have two tools. And usually subtool and geometry, or I have open together a lot. So let's go ahead and hit, we got the append. Let's go ahead and hide the main dumpster body. Throw it over here. We can transpose this bad boy over here. Shift P to get rid of the floor. We'll turn that layer visibility back on. I can start placing this thing right where I want it to be. We can duplicate it and work on it as a symmetrical thing, but I'm going to go ahead and just build one, and then I'll duplicate it in the subtool and throw it in here. To duplicate a subtool and keep it in the same layer, you just hold Control, and you'll make an actual second object, but we're not going to worry about that right now. And if you do that, make sure that you are aware that that is masked. So be aware of that. But let's go ahead and get started with this. So we're going to use a Q modeler with this. So Q, get to my zModeler brush going, and let's go ahead and start building this thing out. So let's, since I'm already working off the symmetry right here, I'm going to have to work in non-symmetrical ways, I think. Let's see. Looks like it, yeah. So what we'll do is, let's see, let's go ahead and get going on this edge. I'm going to use a transpose. I'm going to use a partial loop. Go ahead and click on that. It should give me this edge and this edge. Hold Alt and align those together. Kind of build that piece here. Mask and Q, edge, align and move. Sweet. Unmask it. I'm going to actually center it and align it because it doesn't need to be that big of a box. Let's look at the reference. Scale it down. Let's go ahead and nail that up. So I'm just using Shift Z to display the image that I've already set up in the spotlight. Alright, so cool. Now go to Q, go back to zModeler brush. I'm going to into the Q mesh tools. I can come in here and create a quick hole. Since I want to do all these polygons together, what I want to do here, I go in here, I'm going to do an inset. Now here's where we can play around with the actual modifiers. So I do an inset, and I want to do the single poly, which is why I did the Alt selection, center and border, which will be the center of the object, which is not what we want. What we do want is to do the insert region. So I click on that, and that looks more like what we want. Sweet. Go back into that one, Alt, select these again. Take your time when you're mousing over your sub objects as well, because you can click on things by accident and get different results. So if you're moving quickly and you're kind of not comfortable with it, you can always set your edge to do nothing. Boop. And then when you click on it, nothing happens. Alright, so let's go ahead and is it a function? Okay, so let's go in here and let's see. Yeah, I was going to use Q mesh, and if we just push that in, I can make a hole. Again, all I did with the Q mesh is I just pushed it in. Sweet. Now we've got to scale some more, so we'll go into transpose tool, cool, If I want to delete those, I can just delete them, but right now I'm just going to crash it. I'm fine with that. And now if you want to go into those little refined edges there, we can get into these things here. So go to Q. Actually, you know what? I will delete those. It's going to be important. So let me go ahead and undo that back here. Let me show you how that works. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go into the quads, and I'm going to delete. I'm going to click on it, just select them, and click on those, delete. Delete, 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 delete. I'm going to count the holes, and there's a couple ways you can do it. I want to show you the bridge tool. The bridge tool is wonderful. Alright, so I'm in edge mode. Let's go ahead and click on an edge. I can right click and get the same menu. I want to go to bridge. The bridge is awesome, but we're going to start with just basic edges. If you go to two holes, which I'll show you later, it's awesome. It's fun. So I'll go to bridge. I'm going to go click on one edge and click on edge 2. Look at the little highlight text right there. It says bridge 2 edges, second edge. Tells you what you're looking at. Click on one edge and click on the second edge. Alright, so you repeat that up here. If I was working in a symmetrical angle, this would be a lot easier and a lot faster, but I chose to work off of it, so it's going to make it challenging. And I know there's a better workflow. I just got to learn it. Alright, so there's our object. If we want to flatten those guys, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go to quad mode, hold Alt, select those, and what I'm going to do is just scale them. So I'm going to go into my quad mode, go to transpose, select those, click on one, it'll add to the whole selection. Let's align it, and let's put it in position, and then I'll scale it, let's zoom in, and there, it's flat. Unmask it, and we can show our other dumpster. Boop. So now I've got a subtool. Now the neat thing about subtool is that if its subtool is active, I can't affect the other one. I can only affect whatever's effective. You can tell this because I have the Shift F, which shows the wireframe on. You can see how it's a lighter red color. Click on this tool, that becomes active. It's just hidden here. And there's other things we can do. That's where the live boolean will be come into play, but we'll work on that later. But that's the subtool.